Hey everyone. I've tried to do this a couple of times, but it seems I just couldn't get the words in right, and either it's been raining or, whatever. Maybe people walking by and I have to pause stuff. But I thought I'd talk about something really interesting here. I guess it's not too interesting unless you're a fan of it, and that is, um, excuse me, and that is on February 10th of this year, 4 days before Valentine's Day. The sequel to 50 Shades of Grey will be released, that being 50 Shades Darker. It is the second movie in the 50 Shades series. Now, the series of movies is supposed to go for at least, um, 3 movies, but it sounds like it could go for a lot sooner. Now, what's interesting about this is we all remember the controversy that followed the first ones. The first movie, we all remember the first one. Now, we all know the controversy that went along with it. The fact that you know it. Um, Hold on. We all know that in 2015, um, we all know that it faced a lot of controversy and backlash. A lot of backlash. Mostly the backlash came through the fact that the movie, and I'm even looking it up online as you can hear probably. But the movie caused a lot of controversy in the drive-ins, and I'm pretty sure in the stadium seatings of theaters as well. Because basically, they were showing the movie in front of the world, especially at drive-ins, and if you go into a stadium theater or a cinema theater during the day or whatever, and you see that 50 Shades of Grey was showing at a time that you felt was inappropriate. It's that kind of controversy that 50 Shades Darker has to avoid. And the reason I say they have to avoid that is due to the fact that it's it's basically going to be a movie that it's basically going to be a movie that it's really not going to be suited to be seen during the day, no matter what, no matter where it's released, no matter what theaters or drive-ins it's released at. It's a movie that has to basically be seen late at night. Don't kid me about now. Don't get me wrong. I mean, theaters have the right to air movies when they want to air them. But if this movie um, is darker and more erotic, if you will, than the last one, then I can only hope and pray Universal Pictures wises up to the mistakes from last time and says, you know what, we'll release this movie to drive-ins, we'll release it to theaters, but we have to be guaranteed that they will air it, they will show it at the times when families are not out and about. Basically, times like, let's say, earliest would be 8 o'clock, latest could be 10 o'clock. Drive-in theaters, same thing, maybe 9 o'clock at the earliest, 11 o'clock at the latest, and there you go. Because not many people on the road at that time, you know, going past drive-throughs and all that. Um, so hopefully Universal Pictures and the people distributing this, who's distributing the movie, and let me see. Hold on here for a second. Universal Pictures. Let's just hope that Universal Pictures and the Michael DeLuca Productions can work something out to where like I said, these movies can be seen at times to where they're not going to spark so much controversy, to where, like I said, not many families are out and about, and these will and that basically this would help the movie still get its audience, still get its big box office numbers, but do it in a way that doesn't spark controversy. Because the last time, you had people stopping in traffic, slowing down on highways, because the movie was basically being seen at drive-ins in broad nighttime, if you will. So to avoid that, you want to make sure to avoid that same kind of controversy. I think what they need to do, like I said, Universal and Michael DeLuca Productions, what they need to do is work out some kind of agreement with Regal Theaters, AMC Theaters, any drive-ins owned by AMC or Regal, whoever, Brendan Theaters, Southwinds Theaters, you name it. They need to work something out that basically makes sure that that when they show the movie on the big screen, that it's shown at a time, like I said, it's more appropriate for it. Cinema wise, stadium wise, stadium theater, indoor theaters, cinemas, if you will. My honest opinion is the most realistic time could be 8 o'clock at the earliest, maybe 10 at the latest. Drive-ins, if you want to put them in the drive-ins, that's fine, but put them on screens that are not in the view of public or in the view of the public eye. And if so, put them on at times like, let's say, 9, maybe 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock at night, and it would probably work better. And it would probably, if not mostly, would work better to their advantage, because, like I said, they would still get the box office return. They'd still get the successful box office hit, which they're probably going to get anyway, in return. And if you're a fan of the 50 Shades series, then you'll be willing to go out late at night, especially on February 10th, even at the drive-ins or in the cinemas, and see the movie, even if it's just going to be shown at a later time, like late at night. I think that's probably the best solution for Universal Pictures and Michael DeLuca Productions to go and follow, because if they don't do this, they're going to face the same they're going to face the same controversy they faced last time. And and the thing is, it doesn't matter if you got people like Dakota Johnson or Kim Basinger or Luke Grimes or whoever. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter who you have, because if the movie... Sorry about that. I had to let our cat back into the garage. She wanted to go back in and eat. But anyway, like I said, I think this would probably be the best option for them to do, because, like I said, they're still going to get the box office return. They're still going to get a huge box office. They're still going to have success in a huge way at the box office. But if Universal Pictures and Michael D. Luca Productions does the right thing, calls up the theaters like AMC theaters, Regal theaters, Brendan theaters, whatever, and even the drive-ins that might be owned by them or independently owned, and say, hey, look, you guys can, and say, hey, look, when we send you guys the movie, please show it at these times so that you don't spark any controversy like the last time. Because if they don't do something like that, if they don't show it at a more appropriate time, I'm I'm like, let's say, cinema theater wise, indoor theater, stadium wise, something like I said, 9 o'clock. I mean, 8 o'clock at the earliest, maybe 10, 9, 10 at the latest. And as far as drive-ins, as they go to drive-ins, 9, maybe 9 at the earliest, 11 at the latest. If they don't do that, and especially with the fact that 50 Shades Darker is supposed to have, according to Dakota Johnson, BDSM in it. Yeah, it's supposed to have BDSM. I think that's what it said. Let me check here. It's supposed to have BDSM in it, and I'm sure a lot of people know what that means because it says here. Let me see if I find it here. It says, let me see what it says. See. No, it said something. Hold on. Let's see. I know she said something. Basically, Dakota Johnson. Um, basically said she said in an interview, I think with E Online. Let's see. Hold on. Again, like I said, basically she said, okay, Dakota Johnson on 50 Shades Darker. She basically had an interview, an on-video interview, um, about the nude scenes in 50 Shades Darker as well as BDSM. Yeah, and you even have she's talked to Mike.com. So it sounds like they're going to take the BDSM I guess they had in the first movie, and they're going to take it a step further in this one. So yeah, basically, if it's going to take it a step further and be more, like I say, more graphic wise, then it's probably appropriate that, like I say, Michael D. Luca Productions and Universal Pictures tries to show this movie. And like I said, at the times that I suggested because, like I said, even if they have a huge box office hit and it becomes the number one movie in America, if not the world, if they show it at regular times in drive-ins as well as in in indoor cinemas and all that, it's going to get so much backlash. It's not funny. Because, like I said, you can have a big name star like Kim Basinger attached to it. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because if they don't do the right thing, if they don't correct their mistakes right now, they don't correct them, okay? If they don't correct the mistakes they made last time and try to avoid the controversy from last time, then I don't know, I don't know what they're gonna do with 50 with the follow up film 50 Shades Free, because that's the follow up film. 50 Shades Free is going to be the follow up, and it was being filmed, being made and filmed at the same time as this one. Now, I wish. Now I'm reading here on Wikipedia, and I wish Universal would, in the MPAA, mostly the MPAA, would rethink the rating for this, because they're giving it an R rating for strong erotic sexual content, some graphic nudity, and language. Well, you know what? They have at my job. I just, they got in the middle of the action alley between the registers and some in the clothing areas, other clothing areas up front. They have a display of DVDs, some of the new ones, some of the promotional ones, and all that. Well, they have on one side of the display, they have DVDs and movies that are being sold for promotional reasons. Basically, get $8 off your movie ticket to see 50 Shades Darker. And I look at and one of the movies, of course, that's giving that promotion away is 50 Shades of Grey. So I look at the rating of 50 Shades of Grey, and it says everything here. It says strong sexual content, graphic nudity, language, but it also says some unusual behavior, or strong unusual behavior, or something like that. So to me, I think, just looking at this right now, to me, I think Universal Pictures needs to get in contact with the MPAA, and they need to say, you know what? We don't want this to be R rated. We want an NC-17 rating, because even with NC-17, they can get the box office return that they want. But apparently, the MPAA doesn't see it that way, or if they do, the MPAA also sees possibly another big blockbuster that they can hang on their hat, and they can get, I guess, some. I'm guessing the MPAA. The reason they're doing this is because this way they can they can get favoritism, especially from the fans of the 50 Shades series. But hey, but hey, this is the MPAA. If they want to give it an R rating, fine. I think Doug Walker said it once as a nostalgia critic when he did a comparison between PG and R ratings. Basically, talked about the rating system and how screwed up it is. He talked about how certain movies should be G rated and be proud of it, and how certain movies should be R rated and be proud of it, but they're not. He's talking about how some PG movies should be G rated and be proud of it, and some PG 13 should be R and be proud of it. And that's the same thing with 50 Shades of Grey. They should be an NC 17 movie and be proud of it. Okay? They should be. But they're not. They're getting an R rating. And that's where the MPAA rating system is really messed up. So, so I'm not saying that the movie isn't going to be a success. Okay? I'm not saying that. I just think even with an R rating, they should make the right decision, and I think anybody listening to this and watching this will agree. They need to make the right decision as far as show times are concerned, and air the movie or show the movie at times where families will not be so close to the vicinity or driving home or whatever. Show it at times that are more appropriate for the adult fans, for the 50 Shades fans. Like I said, if you go to a stadium theater like Southwind or Brendan Theaters or whatever, or an AMC or Regal, Universal Pictures and Michael DeLuca Productions needs to talk to them and make some kind of arrangement to where the movie will be shown at a time which is more appropriate for adults, like earliest 8 o'clock, latest 10 o'clock, maybe 9. And drive-ins, if they're going to have it again like they did last time, more appropriately be 9 at the earliest, 11 at the latest. And put it on screens, if it's going to be at a drive-in, that are not in the vicinity of the entire public like last time. I think they need I think Universal Pictures and Michael DeLuca Productions need to do that so they don't face the same backlash that they did last time, even if they have a huge successful blockbuster hit on their hand. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that were disgusted by the controversy and stuff that the movie, you know, despite being a huge box office success, that the first movie had in 2015, and they're probably just as disgusted by the fact that the movie once again is getting an R rating, and there's a possibility it could follow suit. And you know what? I'm pretty sure those people would agree with me that to avoid that, they need to do exactly what I suggest. So, but anyway, I think 50 Shades Darker, you know, I 50 Shades Darker, if that's your thing, fine. But honestly, before in closing, I'm gonna say once again, I think they need to make sure it's shown. I think Universal and Michael DeLoca Productions need to uh, they need to um they they need to make arrangements with all the major theater companies out there and drive-in theater companies or independently owned drive-ins. They need to get in contact with them and make the arrangement to make sure this movie's shown at later times at night, at later times in the evening that are more appropriate than the last time. That really that's all I'm going to say about it. Again, I'm sure it's going to be a blockbuster hit. But if I'm Universal Pictures and Michael DeLuca Productions, I try to do my best to avoid the same controversy and the same backlash I got last time. Because if this is supposed to be darker and more BDSM related and focused on, as well as more erotic than the last one, then even if they have a success, the backlash is not going to be pretty if they don't correct the mistakes from last time. So that's all I'm going to say. You guys let me know what you think down below, and I'll talk to you later.